Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So I allowed everything to dry, and like I mentioned in my past video, I did write in my studio log, and I had a conversation, many conversations with my discomfort. I'm trying to dive really deep into it and figure out, where is it coming from? What is it hiding? What does it have to tell me, etc. And even though I'm at this point not going to share all the nuts and bolts of it because I'm still working through it, I am going to say one thing which I think might be helpful to somebody watching this. It certainly has been eye-opening and helpful to me, is that even though I haven't figured out like all of the complexities and layers of my discomfort. Oh, let me just say, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, ever since I started working in this book, it's Connie Solera's Painting the Feminine Art Journal. As you can see, I go in and I put a color field in the background. Like, I'm gonna just show you here, like, see Connie's work. This is 100% Connie's. I have not done anything to it. And she can have, like, this is a figure here. This is a figure. This is kind of an abstract-y kind of figure. And see how the background is really busy and the figures are really busy, and like these are kind of mountains, and then the mountains kind of overlap with the figures, and just everything's really busy, but it all works, and I don't know how she does that. So ever since I've been working in this book, thus far I have made a color field for the most part, rather than kind of how she has everything really busy, because it scrambles up my brain and I just get this anxiety and I just want to cover up either the background or the figure and make one of them a solid color so then the other one can stand out. So that's what I'm talking about when I say my discomfort. I have a lot of discomfort with the figures being like all so busy and then the background being busy. I don't know how to kind of keep both of them busy, I guess. So that's what I'm talking about. So getting back to my, talking to my discomfort, getting into all the layers of it, etc. I will say this, even though I haven't gotten into the, the foundation, the nuts and bolts, I've gotten into quite a bit of it, but even though I haven't like figured everything out about like my discomfort and why am I feeling this way, this fear, this anxiety, etc., related to the busy background, busy foreground, me having a conversation with it, me bringing it out into the open, me, like making a bridge between myself and my discomfort, anxiety, whatever, has alleviated a lot of that anxiety. So that taught me a big lesson. Like, it's not just about solving the, oh, well, why am I feeling discomfort? What is it hiding? I mean, I think those are important things to figure out, to get to the root of, to have a conversation about, or like in my studio log. Those are really, really important. But it's also equally important, maybe even more important. I don't know yet because I'm kind of in the middle of this process. But just bringing it out into the open rather than pretending it's not there, or just, like what I did for a lot of these pages is I would just go in and, oh my God, I'm feeling this anxiety. I can't keep the background and the foreground busy. So I just go in and I put in my solid background color field. So, instead of doing that, me just having a conversation, has taken away a lot of that fear and anxiety. So that's like a huge takeaway for me. Anyways, you guys, I am gonna let that go for right now, because I'll probably talk about it a little more like as I go along, because like I said, I'm in the middle of it and it's difficult to explain things when I haven't really figured things out yet. But I think that that is an important point. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. So I am going to, not come in here and make everything like, or the background, a solid color. I'm going to leave it as is, as long as possible. And maybe I'll be able to do it for the entire process. But for right now, I am going to make my figures here. And in the last video, I made this like I put this ink, which is a Payne's Gray, like a black, over here, and I've never really wanted to do that before with a like with a figure so much. So now what I want to do is I want to make these like dots. I don't know why there are no dots on the page, so it's not like I'm echoing or, you know, trying to repeat something, but I'm just kind of feeling called to doing it, and I don't know why. I'm just gonna go with it. And I do have this piece of collage over here on my desk, so maybe I was influenced by that. I don't know, like in the reverse, because that's white with black dots, and this is black with white dots, but I don't know. It could not even be related. And these are not really dots I'm making, they're lines, but still. Sometimes, you know, things might like even subconsciously inspire me, but maybe in a different way. Like it's not the same, but it's, you know, enough of the pattern is similar. So maybe that inspired me somehow. But I'm really loving it. And oh, you guys, let me just say this, okay? So I've been really making a concerted effort to paint intuitively, like with a lot of my you know, just mixed media portraits and working in different journals like the Medial Woman, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Healing Ancestral Trauma Art Journal, absolutely. I'm working more intuitively. And one of the things that I'm kind of leaning into that is making me so happy is like me, okay, for instance, okay, so I had this idea, okay, I want to put black over here, and then I want to make these like lines or dots or whatever. Well, me doing this is so pleasing to my soul. Like, it just makes me happy. Like, and to me, that's a good sign that, hey, I am working intuitively. I'm working from my intuition. And, you know, my emotions too, right? But it's like, that's kind of like a good guidepost for me. Like, it just is making me happy. Like, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. Like to somebody else, it might be like, what the heck, you know? But to me, I'm like, oh my God, this just makes me so freaking happy. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I feel like, yeah, that's a good indication that I'm working intuitively. Now, I do want to repeat this because this is a very bold pattern here. The, you know, white against black, you know, it's just, it's bold. So I want to repeat it 2 other times, just to kind, and maybe not to the same degree, like maybe not the same amount, but just even a little bit. So I think over here, because that could be like a necklace or something, and it kind of, you know, like it kind of like from here to here, and I don't know where else. Oh, you know what, you guys, like from here to here, and then here or up here, here to there to there. So I think this is what I'm gonna do here, is I'm gonna put a little bit of black here, and I think that's gonna work out well. And then maybe when I'm done, I am gonna put white on here, but I don't know if I'm gonna put the same pattern. I probably am, but I don't know. I don't know 100%, but see, I'm thinking like my eye can go from here to here to here, and that's gonna be like a good, like, you know, keep my eye moving around the page. Yeah, okay. So now let me see, what do I want to do with that face? I don't know, you guys. I'm kind of like really, part of me wants to keep like the abstractedness here, like of the collage, but then I'm wondering like, how am I gonna make facial features? You know what, I'm just gonna kind of play around here a little bit. Just gonna kind of cover that up so I don't get that black paint on my forearm here. Oh, you guys, my blue Stabilo pencils came in. I ordered them from Dick Blick like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, but they were back ordered. So they came in and I am so happy. I cannot tell you. I was trying to kind of do without them for a while, you know, because when I kind of, you know, hold off on getting stuff that I use all the time, like my Liquitex Burnt Sienna ink, my blue Stabilo pencil, it forces me to think outside the box and to be creative and to use what I have in new ways. So that's why I kind of you know, I hold off sometimes on getting new stuff. Like when I run out of my tried and true art supplies. And then eventually I give in. I'm like, oh my God, I just need it. And then I just go and buy it. But I do learn a lot from using what I have. Now over here, I'm just loving so much of what is going on, but then there are some parts that are just not working very well for me here. I like the yellow, but then this part, I don't know. I think what I'm gonna try to do, you guys, is I'm gonna try to replicate that orange, but this is Connie's orange here. And I don't know how on earth I'm gonna get that exact orange here. I mean, I could try to mix it, but I mean, I don't know. This is like a fluorescent type of orange, and I don't know. It's probably not like Connie's orange. I don't know. Connie's orange is not as, let's see. Yeah, it's not as fluorescent-y. Now, some of these paints, you guys, are from when we lived in Italy. So this is Italian paint. Now, it's not very expensive paint, mind you, but, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's no way for me to know what paint Connie used here, but I know like when we went to Oaxaca, she loves using Mexican paints, the poster paints. And see, it's not the same. Might have to add some yellow. So you guys, let me just talk about paints for a second here, since I'm trying to mix this color, and it's going to be a little bit off camera, me mixing it. But anyways, so before I went to Oaxaca, like obviously, you know, some art supplies you want to spend the money, okay? Like generally speaking, like brushes are worth spending the money for, and especially when you're doing watercolor, like Kolinsky sable brushes. I know they're super expensive, you guys. Like one brush can be freaking $300 or something. It's ridiculous. That being said, you don't need a lot of brushes, but it's important to get the right brush. And you know, some of the art supplies you do want to spend the money on, right? But before I went to Oaxaca, I was under the impression that the more expensive your paints are, the better quality, the better whatever, insert whatever. You know, it was just important to spend the most amount of money on paints, in the sense of like, hey, it's better to have less paints, less colors, but a higher quality. And I think for some paints that is true. Like my Cad Red Light by Liquitex, that is like, I can't get something in a cheaper brand. Like it's pretty expensive. I don't remember the exact price, but because I haven't bought it lately, but it's pretty expensive, you know. It's Liquitex, it's heavy body, the one I use. So I want to say it's like about, you know, $40. Well, I buy it in a big tube, so it's about $40-ish. That's kind of expensive for one tube of paint, right? But when I went to Oaxaca, Connie uses a lot of cheap poster paints. And we actually went to an art store when we were there, and we actually got to purchase paints, which unfortunately most of mine have, you know, the jars are empty. Anyways, to make a long story short, she said that, you know, poster paints, because they're cheapy paints, they are chalky quality. They've got a lot of punch to them, especially the ones we bought in Oaxaca. She said that actually those paints make for really vibrant, you know, colors and art, and, you know, and I'm sure a lot of these are the cheap poster paints from Oaxaca. Now, she also uses other paints. She mixes her stuff, like, you know, as most artists do, I guess. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out, because I do think, yes, some art supplies are, it is important to get the most, you know, the most expensive, like the Kolinsky brushes if you're doing watercolor, or just brushes in general. I think it's good to have fewer brushes, and then, you know, spend a little bit more money on the brushes. But then some art supplies, I think cheap, you can get away with cheap stuff. And what comes to mind immediately are those Portfolio water soluble oil pastels. Those are actually really good. Now, they're not available everywhere in the world, but They are really good, and they're very cheap, comparatively speaking. So yeah, I'm sorry for that big long story, you guys. Now what might have to do, because I'm not going to be able to replicate that exact shade of Connie's, so what I might do is I might like bring some of this color like into here a little bit, just to kind of like keep the continuity, like keep my eye moving, so it's not like you know, like just this one orange here in this particular shade over here and then nowhere else. But I am gonna try like off camera, I am gonna try to kind of get close to this beautiful orange shade here, and I think I need to add more yellow, but yeah, I don't know. Color is very tricky, you guys. It really honestly is very, very tricky. So let's see, mixing some yellow, but see, that's not really doing it. Like, that's just a very bold orange there. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna stop this, like I'm gonna stop right here, and then off camera I am maybe going to try to mix something close to that. Maybe, I don't know, that the chances of that happening are almost zero. Anyways, you guys, so if you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. I hope that this has been helpful and inspiring, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.